Hi everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. Welcome to another weekly collective reading. Welcome to my altar temple room. And this is going to be the reading for the week starting today, April 12th to April 18th of 2026. However, these readings are also, just because they're applicable and posted or for the week, the upcoming week that is, doesn't mean that they're not timeless. So if this finds you at some other point or another time, it's meant to find you. It's also a timeless message and often may have little nuggets or pieces of wisdoms that may apply to your current life situation. Again, this is a energetic guidance, awareness, what to be mindful of this week as we each experience our own lives, our circumstances, and interactions with others, and how we see and perceive the world, our paths, no matter what they may look like, no matter what our circumstances, our relationships is. We're each going through different things. We each have different paths, whether it's spiritual, whether it's day-to-day work, career, health, finances, relationships, or just seeing the world itself, or just creating magic, creating experience, and doing our best to survive and be a better version of ourselves today. Or I hope that's your path, because that's mine. We don't want to fall into the trap of regression or digression. That's the message. So this week there is not a message necessarily from crystals. I do advise though, and been guided towards, that there's not a crystal message, but because the cards that have already come out that I pulled and the energies I connected with, it's best to pull something that makes you feel very grounded, very present, and within your body, to recognize your body, your feelings, your thoughts, and to connect so you can move through effectively and empowered. And this is, of course, at any time you may see this or this may feel applies to you. Again, this may be divinatory and may be of guidance or, well, predictive, I should say. But overall, the cards in tarot to me are more of a combination of feelings, resonance, experience, guidance, what we can work with psychologically, logically, experiential, I don't know if that's a word, in this thing called life. And just doing our best to have clear perceptions, perspectives, and being a human, no matter how we identify. And with that being said, I have used the Boid Tarot this week as guided. Despite my eye issues, I'm working through with her, despite my central vision is being lost, or has been, and is digressing. But that's video's not about that. You work with what you have, and you use things and be resourceful. And the actual, besides the tarot being used, it is going to be Purgatorium Heks. She goes quite nicely with the Void in the color palette she brings out with so much red to white. And then finally, no surprise, Haunted Manor Oracle by Syrian Shadows, my favorite Oracle deck. As this Purgatorium Hex is definitely right up there with her for various reasons and aspects. We each have our own things that we have an affinity of, we're drawn to, and that might change from period to period of time. So this week, the energy, like last week, is heavy. But it is a bit heavier. That doesn't mean you're not going to have a good week. It doesn't mean that you can't move through it, long as you're mindful and aware of your feelings, your perceptions, and looking at things with a more clear perspective, or reframing as needed. Things are going to come up with the feeling of the message of the cards, and of course for the energy has been given, and having that real need to ground and protect oneself. There is things having to do with that are going to rise to the surface. Are they reality, or are they actually lies? Lies meaning lies we tell ourselves, lies that others tell us, lies of what society and experience has told us. Things might be also coming to roost, like they say. However, you need to hear the calling. And with that being said, as this collective is always constantly changing and is in periods of evolution, that I feel, the collective that I typically read for or that may see this, and I hope this reaches who is meant to in a world of logarithms and favorability by things that are actually not necessarily human, if we all know what we're talking about here. So, the card this week, or cards that go with that message and the awareness. Card 1, Judgment. Yes. Judgment, number 20 in the tarot, a major arcana, a major key, that is, and a major key aspect, I feel. Judgment is the aspect of, like I said, things coming up from the past, things for judgment. Judgment for things you may or may have not done, or that you feel you may have not done, or experiences that may or may not have been fulfilled. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have shortcomings. It's more of looking at those and moving through those and how you can take decisive steps, planning, and actions starting this week to move forward to build your future. Now, future is uncertain. We can only each have each day and foreseeable future and take those moments to moments. Nothing is clearly defined, but there is life and fate patterns, of course. There is different things that we've already set forth into action, and the cards that we've been dealt, so to say, hence the tarot, but the ones that we've been dealt with from our life, our experiences, our health, our bodies, our spiritual paths, and all of the above, and the things that we learn and the responsibilities we must work through day to day. But judgment is meeting those calls the best way we can, with reality, with grace and compassion for ourselves and for those that matter. It doesn't mean that you have to love thy neighbor or every neighbor or every person you come in experience with. It's meaning have a respect. And just because they don't respect you doesn't mean you can't respect them. Just shrug it off. But also recognize that as your past zombies come up, so to say, like resurrection of the judgment card, you have the strength to get through this. Don't fall into aspects of, the next one is, I'm going to read these a little bit out of order because that's what I'm being guided of how they came up. Don't fall into the pattern as judgment comes up and as you're realigning yourself through decisive action, and embracing your path, your will, and your circumstances as they may come to be this week and overall, is don't fall into or give complete credence to the Nine of Swords energies. You must recognize that, yes, it's there. You're going to have sleepless nights. You may be haunted by your past and also what's into the present, but don't let your future haunt you, and don't let judgment take the negative connotations. Embrace it with will. Anxiety can be healthy. Fear is healthy. Fear can often point to things that need to be worked on or embraced, or experiences that may have not been, or feelings that may have not been acknowledged, but the swords are thought. So you need to be mindful of your thoughts. Thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to thoughts and anxieties. Just because things are very difficult and often heavy and very uncertain doesn't mean that you can't move through them with logic and clarity, and just know that you're doing the best you can, even if expectations like that judgment are not coming out quite. But you can be a fair judge for yourself, kind of like justice didn't show up, but judgment, I believe in this case, interacts and comes up as a key for both. And here's the King of Cups, which is the third tarot card that came out. And that one is saying here, cups are of emotions. They are a perception. They are relationships, experiences, and relativity, how I look at it as. So that's the flow. That's the waters of life and experiences, going with the flow. Now, the King of Cups goes with the flow. He rides the waves of emotions, thought, and experiences, but he goes with it with grace. He's earned grace. So this collective has always learned grace and compassion and is more compassionate than maybe the rest of the world or others around them. But continue to have compassion for yourself as things arise to be continued that will arise from the past and the present that need to be dealt with. This week is going to lay strong foundations with different things. That it's having that emotional flow, the emotional maturity through your experiences of the past, present, and what you want to create for the future. Being mature, being responsible, and being mindful not to react and be reactive when difficult things and feeling those anxieties as they come to be in those thoughts. Take a breath, take 10 breaths, take a moment of pause, take an extra hour of sleep, whatever you can, maybe tea, wine, coffee, whatever fills your pleasure and helps to calm you. Get back to that center like the King of Cups does. So look at things from a more mature and perspective lens this week. As things arise, don't let, this is where the message comes in, do not let deception come in because of that Nine of Swords energies. Don't let life and your past does not define your present or your future. Do not let that deceive you or that your future is going to be bleak just because there's very difficult things you have been and are moving through in as life is. We're going to only continue to move through those. But don't look at things and face deception and those Nine of Swords energies with truth, grace, and maturity for yourself first and foremost, and what you're trying to achieve and therefore. Now, prayer in a sense is not like necessarily like the Christian, Catholic, or Abrahamic prayer. It's prayer that your guides, the powers that be, no matter what path you work with or what your faith system is or those in your life, you have the support. Your guides are listening to your silent and also out loud prayers or your words, your thoughts and feelings. You have support. You can look for help. You can look for the different resources in this modern day of age, whether it's reaching out to a friend or family member, a spouse, for love and support or guidance, or just to hear that extra voice of wisdom, truth, or presence. But it's also looking to your resources. The internet has so many things. We have an advantage of that at this day and age. It's also a disadvantage, but look to that. But listen to your guides. Listen to your gut, your instincts. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in the process. Things are going to be what they be. It's how you have faith through them. Not hoping. It's faith that no things will be as they may and that things will work out as best as they can because you're doing what you need to, despite and not allowing deception to overrule you. And we have here purification, because with that Judgment card there is it's bringing up things that need to be, sorry about that, it's bringing up things that need to be purified. By acknowledging and moving through your fears and anxieties and reframing yourself, not bypassing, do not bypass. Sit with, process, feel, experience. That's what it is about. You're going to actually move through. The Judgment gives us the opportunity to accelerate forward in a healthier way, like the King of Cups, when it comes to emotions and perceptions. And to purify some of those fears, those thoughts, those anxieties, and let your faith come to be. Your prayers will be answered, your calling, so to say, like the Judgment card. And final advice for this week is from Haunted Manor, and it is, sorry about that again, value your worth. I say, I knew what it was, but yeah, okay. But value your worth. So value yourself. Know that you, just because you can't do what you really mentally want to or what you can, despite maybe physical limitations, health limitations, financial limitations, or your past experiences, or what others cannot tell you do, or how you are, or value worth on what you do and what you can produce, value your worth. You are a worthwhile person. You have essence, you have presence. You're a contributor in this human life experience, even if it's just to yourself or maybe one or two other people. That's what matters is your inner circle, your relevance, and your interactions, not what others' expectations are or how they actually tell you what you're worth or not worth. You have to know that you're worth it. You have to face that judgment. And that's what part of this guidance is. And integrating the past into the present and the foreseeable future is value yourself, value your experiences, value your wisdom and contributions to this world. Others may disagree with you. That is certainly on them. And with that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe if this resonates with you or you so feel inclined, as likes and comments and subscribing lets me know that my messages is reaching and will reach further out to others that do, as YouTube has, and I'm sure the algorithm and such finds my channel unfavorable just because I don't have all the glitz and glam. Well, I wear it, but and I present it, but just because I don't have that or I got buried in that doesn't mean there's not value. Just like value your worth, just as yours might come up to be. And with that being said, I hope you have a effective, empowered week. And thanks for watching. And as always, stay strange.